We are unfortunately almost done for today, but there's one last highlight waiting for you. Our final keynote speaker. There he's coming. You can come and sit down if you want to. It's Gunter Dueck. You might know him. Gunter Dueck, sorry, nicht Günther, Gunter. Gunter Dueck is talking now in our lobby about when a flood comes, build ships, not dikes, a talk about pre-framing. But let me introduce you to maybe some people who don't know who you are, but I guess not many people don't know that. You are former CTO of IBM Germany. You are a writer, speaker, philosopher, business angel. Business angel means that you are also investing into startups. So what kind of startups? Maybe somebody out there is listening now and wants to make you an offer.
Oh, I'm engaged in 3 or 4 companies. So it's a little bit random. It started when in Facebook someone asked, "Do you have some
money left?"
No money. No. Can you help me to find a software for something? And what does it cost? And I wrote back, half an hour is for free. One day is 1 bottle of red wine.
Okay.
And more of it is 1% of the company.
Okay.
I made this, and then we came into some relation, and sometimes I knew how to manage that with a software. I connected them with the people, and so sometimes I can do things in 10 seconds where people never succeed.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have all the connections and so I became a shareholder of. I gave some money also, so I became a shareholder of Voixen. Is the company is for speech recognition, like a little bit artificial intelligence in call centers. So, for instance, it's very interesting to measure the time, the percentage of time the people are silent.
Okay.
This means that the agent is looking for something at the computer. Let me see. And this means that either he's incapable, or second, that the software is not doing well.
Yeah.
So, and then you can analyze what if people are asking or are being silent at the same point, and then you can analyze the software. You can train the people to have better answers and so on. Or you can measure if the voice is trembling.
Okay.
So if people are relaxed or aggressive, something, or you can search down the whole space in speech recognition. So you make speech to text, and then you Google search on text. How many was the word shit mentioned at that time? Then you get exactly the voice at that time when the customer says, "Oh shit, I forget my number." And then it's everything okay, of course.
You just mentioned,
this was not really the best company, but when we have now Corona, everyone needed artificial intelligence in these times, so we sold. I think in January I get the money back, so I made double money, something like that. And it's okay.
So
it was a lot of fun. We had the major engagement is now in the company Sharpist. They are trying management coaching on the internet, so that the management candidate in a big company should be coached in personal development. So every big company has a kind of personal development, of course. But this is a little bit aggressive. So I became a manager, and then you are sent to assessment center, something, and then you know that all people are judging: is this guy okay or not? And this is very harmful or stressful for the people. And then you go through many stages in this development area, and then half or maybe 2/3 of the people are cancelled on the way. And this is really hard. So it's not really development, but more selection, and you know that. And a good idea would be to hire excellent coaches from outside. And for outside people, it's much easier to tell people, hey, I coached you now for many hours, and boy, you are not a manager, please. Sign. Resign in that. And this is for the people and for your ego and for your heart, it's very much easier. So the education, I think, from external point is easier, better, and gives you a different perspective. So you are not trained to follow the rules of a company, but you are really trained on personal development. Okay. And this is doing quite well.
Yeah, it sounds.
So they made a real million round of second placement, and so it's starting to become a big company. Of course, we have always this Corona problem in the middle. And I'm open to these things, but I think I should be interested in the case. So just giving money is
not interesting, probably.
It's interesting, but I can do that at a NASDAQ. So there are lots of new companies. I follow a lot of companies at the NASDAQ, what they are doing. So by say Bill.com, they are making a digital version to send, instead of sending checks, payment checks. Yeah. In America, they have not really banking system like we have. So it's a good idea to digitize check sending by post. So and there are kind of small revolutions, or there are artificial insurances where you can send some photos of your car, photo, and then and a computer says the damage is about $8,000, deal or no deal, something like that. And in many cases, 30% of the cases, the deal is okay, and then you can save a lot of money. And there are many breakthroughs in particularly in America, and I follow these ones. And I invest my money also there.
Professor Dueck, before you start your talk, let me ask you one more question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you are very fast in some areas. You just mentioned that you need only 10 seconds to realize something or to do something.
No. We have to have connections.
Yeah.
So many people say, if you are working in management, you should reserve 30%. I mean really 30% of your time to making connections.
Okay.
So and if you have a problem, then you have a connection, and then you get an answer in 10 seconds. It's rather easy.
But I wanted to know something else. I wanted to know why and this might be the reason, why your nickname at IBM time was Wild Duck.
Wild Duck.
Wild Duck.
It's in German we have a translation. This is Querdenker, and this is gone now. So I'm very happy to have the original.
Okay. So you don't want to be a Querdenker.
The Watson, the founder, or the son of founder of IBM, once said, in IBM we don't mind to have a few wild ducks around.
Okay.
And the reason is they said there's a tale or a novel of a philosopher Kierkegaard from Copenhagen, and he said that this is a legend, I think, that in Copenhagen the wild ducks are fed by the inhabitants of Copenhagen, and in principle wild ducks go to the south in the winter, so they fly to Africa or somewhere.
Yeah.
But not in Copenhagen, because they are fed all the or in all the hard time. And in the 1820s, somewhere then, there was a very hunger period in Copenhagen, and people died. And in this time, of course, all the white ducks died. Because they didn't know where the south is. And the IBM said a few of us should know where the south is. And that's me.
Yeah. Okay.
So the real story is, I found I have all the works complete works of Kierkegaard on my fixed drive, and I tried to find the novel. Never succeeded. So no chance. It was in the 90s. We didn't have Google, so you could not. And for my recent book, I Googled what the wild ducks are, and I found the real story. And there are two stories short stories of Kierkegaard, but on wild goose.
Okay.
Wild geese. So. And so there was an error with this wild duck. So everyone says wild in duck, America wild duck, but the story is that the wild goose flew to Africa and then saw a farm downstairs with white geese, very fat ones. And they said, "Please come with me to Africa." And they declined. So we are working in a big company. We have a good salary, we have good feed, everything is fine, we don't need to fly. And then they made up a little bit fly, and then people, they made it like fun. So it was fun to fly a little bit, and they tried 1 meter, and they tried 2 meters, and after 1 week they said, flying is not really. So for some days it's quite fun, yeah, but not the whole time. And they said, look, we once met flying geese, but they are tiny and they are not fat like we are. And this is a really good tale for big companies, I think. And what I'm saying now in my speech, so flying 1 meter is brainstorming. Yeah. This is fun. 1 hour flying 1 meter high, and 2 meters is design thinking.
And I think this.
And then they say, oh, design thinking is fine. My heart is overflowing, and we had a lot of ideas, and it was a fine day, and then nothing happens. And my claim is just go to Africa, or what the title now is. Build dikes, build not dikes, but build ships to go.
And the story was a good introduction to your talk. Yeah. So let's enjoy Professor Gunter Dueck and his keynote, When a Flood Comes, Build Ships, Not Dikes, a talk about pre-framing.
Okay. So, which camera is on? I should not care, okay? Okay. Okay, build ships. Now we have heard from the geese. This is the same story. So it's always you should know that there are different perspectives in life, different countries, different continents. This time we are looking for the digital continent. Of course, we have lots of ideas and people. If you're really looking at what companies or big companies in Germany do, they are building dikes, and I give some nasty comments on that. So the most nasty comment I met was 5 or 6 years with a Daimler Corporation. Then I said, you own 10% of Tesla, and maybe this is the most worthful part of it. And I was fearing that they should shoot on me, but see, now Tesla is the price is up. I think 30% alone in the last 10 days. Tesla is now more worth than, I think, $400 billion, and Daimler is 45. And the 10% package of Tesla is really more worthful than the whole Daimler company. And this is like digitization is conquering our world and our lives. So all the digital solutions are going up, and people are becoming rich, and people sticking to their old fashion, they have problems, and many of them will die, of course. I know what I mean. What do I want to say? I'm from agriculture. My father was a farmer, and so we started when I was really young, 5 years old. We had, I think, per hectare per acre land, we had one worker. So we had to care for beans and and potatoes and something. We had people for everything. We had even 3 people cooking the meals for all the people. And this was 55, 57. Then we had, invested in machines, not in horses. And when we sent the horses to the Hanover Zoo, my parents told me, then there was a new era like mechanics. This is the same like digitization today. And my father needed 10 years, then he lost the last worker, and from 67 he worked alone on his farm. And then we reduced our headcount from 40 to 1. And in the winter he had nothing to do because he did just plants. So it was just 3/4 or 2/3 of a headcount for the farm. And 10 years before, we had 40. And now we have in many areas the same development, but nobody likes to hear that. I'm claiming that for, I think now, nearly 15 years. It started in 2000 when we talked about Amazon. When we promoted the e-business. Do you remember this red E from IBM? This is vanished from the internet, so they captured all the sources. It's not really there. But if you remember, Gerstner, the IBM boss, said 98, everything is e-business, and we need it now, up to now, 20 years, and now everything becomes really e-business. It was not at once. People laughed a lot. They laughed about the dot-com crash in 2003, I think. They laughed about everything at Amazon, at Google, at Zalando in Germany. They laughed, and now we are there. And now it's time to go. And means my title is Build Ships, Not Dikes. Okay. Just weiter. So, big button. The consultants are already they're thinking about that, but they preach resilience. So you have to have resilience, and then you have lots of consultants now find a purpose for your company, maybe a digital purpose or do something. This is meetings. This is not even building dikes. This is nothing. This is you just calm down by meetings. Should not do that. So, but resilience is fine. Nobody really knows what it is, but it does just is theoretical. Meetings. People talk about resistance. This is the old-fashioned way. Should not do that. What we really have is digital transformation. I hate this notion too. Digital transformation means that it is. An evolutional path from now to the future. And every year there's a little bit changing. But if you look at the last 20 years, then a lot has changed. And people have the feeling that it's very, very fast, and they feel that it's too fast, and they feel that never in human history we had such a fast development. This is absolutely not true. As I said, I come from a farm, and within 10 years we went down from 40 headcount to 1. This is fast. You always, if you are engaged in this transformation, and if you one of these 40 people vanishing, then you think it is fast. But the earlier transformations were very, very much faster. What I remember is that nobody was frustrated, and nobody made hate to this transformation. Everyone says without horses it's much better and much more fun to work, and it's not really hard work. You have not to get up 4 o'clock in the morning. It's easy, and everyone was full of joy by this transformation to mechanics. And the digital transformation has some bad emotions in many, many people, and I think they feel that it is fast, but it is not. Now, of course, we have an accelerator. This is the COVID-19 virus. This makes things a little bit faster. So people get new experiences of digital things, what they could avoid in the past. So in our village we have some people, they decline to get money, say, from the discounters. So you can just, if you pay with Aldi or Lidl or Rewe in Germany, you can just say, I want to have withdraw from my account 100 euros or 200 euros, and then you have your money. And then people say, some older people like me with gray hair say, no, this is the very, very fancy technique. I don't use that. And then I said the cards in Europe, the Euro check cards, the EC cards, or they have different names. They exist since, I think, 1979. So this is two generations of people, and we have still late adopters of digitization in every form. What we are now discussing is, this is a special, maybe German attitude. We say that our society is split in winners and losers, and some people are crying, some people are saying winner, winner, winner. Some people are earning money, and some people are ruined at home. So all the event people here in this room, they have problems with their work, so all my events were basically cancelled this year. So I'm a loser, and there are others, they are winners. And we are always discussing in our country, who is the winner? We hate him. Who is the loser? Give him money, let rain money, and so on. And we are not building ships. We are just talking that we are sitting down and the flood comes. This is the problem. Okay, I have two slides split in winners and losers. You can just scan the list one a little bit down. This is home office, of course. Gaming sites are wonderful. You can buy games, or you can buy gaming shares of some companies. Everything is fine. You have internet shopping. The real shooting star is Shopify. If you know this company, no one knows. It's a shooting star like Amazon. So this is Shopify is owned by a Canadian German. So it's a German, Lütke, his name, and he went to Canada and made a startup, Shopify, that if you want to have an internet shop, you can have everything. Click, 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 and you have your internet shop. And Shopify is the shooting star at the stock market. This is the shooting star at the stock market in these times. So I bought that some years ago, 2-3 years ago, for $100. I sold it I was blind a little bit. When Corona came, I said I should better sell the stock for 500, and I sold it for 500 and went down to 300, and I think 300 is, I don't know. Now it's, I think, 1,100, something like that. So this is all people talk about that. The latest news is that in the Thanksgiving period, Shopify has a revenue plus 70% or 74%, something like that. So everything is going up. People like now skateboards and e-bikes. E-bikes are sold like hell. You like to have your food coming from HelloFresh or Delivery Hero or something. One of them is in the DAX index now in the stock markets. You may like Doc Morris this or Shop Apotheke in Germany, the large ones. Many people hated that. So I am going regional to our small pharmacy or apotheke, and I like this one. And but in Corona times, you can see that Doc Morris is also fine. We are talking about electrical cars, e-cars. So there's a big shift. The next shift is with hydrogen power. Technology, because all the Swedish and Danish and Norwegian companies, they force trucks and particularly ships in Eastern Sea to use hydrogen. So the major hydrogen industrial areas in Sweden and in Norway. So, and I'm always preaching, why not in Germany? So we would have a good chance to have hydrogen techniques here, because the Americans don't care about that. So they stick to electrical cars, but they have also this Nikola cars with hydrogen. So there's a lot of switching or transition going on, and this transition is very much affecting Germany, because we are a kind of diesel country or gas company. You have a lot of automotive companies, and they are very much fearing all these new technologies. But you can see that this development is coming to us. We see also that electrical power by solar energy is becoming very, very cheap. So it's if you have a lot of sun, maybe in Spain or better in Northern Africa or in Arabia, then the solar power production price is less than what's this Kernkamp? Nuclear power and nuclear plants. So it's really low. I think I pay 32 cents per unit, and the production price in Spain is about 1 cent, and we pay 30. So most of it is taxi, I know. We have payment services going up, because payment is now the real source of profits in banking. So in all the financial areas, they cannot really earn money, because the interest rates are zero. So they are concentrating on payment services. All the banks who have payment services, they are very lucky. Germany has, of course, Wirecard. This is problem, okay, but payment is going up. Cloud services are going up. We see a lot of weak AI. I have to explain that what people distinguish between weak AI and strong AI. Strong AI is that what you see in Oscar movies in Hollywood. So what we are dream of frightened of. So what we are fearing is strong AI. What we are doing is weak AI. So I get a lot of advertisement in the internet. So if I buy something with Amazon, maybe it comes to home, and then from now on, when I have the product, I will be punished 4 weeks with advertisement that I should buy this item I have already bought. So this is weak AI. This is a little. Someone has some crude idea, and you can, of course, give that easily into software. So this is not really advanced. We had this. We had in the discussion before. I declared that in call centers what you can do. So, but these easy things, weak AI, have kind of impact if you really try. So you don't need strong AI. Try a little bit weak. So, okay. List of losers: tourism, gastronomy. You know all these things. Everyone, every evening in the television, the people are crying. I'm ruined. So I'm one of these people. Tourism and gastronomy is easy, business travel is easy, property will go down, perhaps because the home offices are coming up. And this means if a company has maybe an office tower of maybe 100 Etagen. Levels, 100 levels, then after home office area they do need only maybe 70 or 100, and then these towers become empty, and this gives some impact on the prices of property. So always the hotels are not really looked for in this moment. All these properties are going down in the worth. We have self-employment work vanishing because they are not really liked by our government. Doctors have problems because their patients are not trying to come because they fear corona. Sales reps have problems and so on. You can all these, maybe all these things. People do not like to shop in the cities. Last week we had in the newspaper there was a big article on Mannheim where I live I live in Heidelberg, and in Mannheim all people tried last Saturday to shop something, but they had to wait in the street to being let that they can come in. And maybe people become very angry and then they try to shop on the internet. Okay, this was a long introduction for this slide. Just look at the indices of the stock markets. If you look at the DAX, MDAX, TechDAX, Euro Stocks Index, and so on, and you see that compared with 1 year, this is in German, but the percentages mean what is the change of the last year. So then you see that everything is plus minus 5% or 2% something, and the only index standing out is the Nasdaq 100 index. This is plus 45. Think about that. So all the stock indices are the same compared with last year. Only the Nasdaq 100 is plus 45%, and this means that the money of the investment, we talked about investing in startups, all the investments of the people are going in the digital area. Nasdaq is mostly digital, and on the other side is a lot of healthcare, so biotech and these things. So the money is going into medicine, biotech, and digital. So there's the money stream. And you can say this is crazy because they are overvalued. I know all these discussions. This is not the point. I give you one point why this is very, very important. If, for instance, I mentioned Tesla. If Tesla, with a market capitalization of $500 billion, wants to add a new production area, and you need 5 billion new fresh money, then Elon Musk would say, give me 5 billion, so this is 1% more, so it doesn't care. And then within 1 hour he would have $5 billion, no problem. If, say, Deutsche Bank or Daimler or BMW want to have $5 billion, then this is an essential part of their market capitalization, and no way that they get $5 billion in new shares. So it's very, very different. It's a very different situation if the money is going to you or the money is hiding from you, and the money is going with the ships. No one is giving money for shares to build dikes. This is what this figure says. All the money is going to biotech and digital, because there's so much money because interest rates are zero. Nobody can earn something with anything other. So the only way to avoid that your money is losing, you are losing money, is to go in the Nasdaq area. And this means that here the transition is drowned in money. And therefore, we will see in the next year a leap in technology because all the people can have fresh money. Okay, building dikes. This is German wood. You know, even in Germany, we have problems with the weather. So last year, or this year, I think this year we have the coldest ever year from now. So all the years in front of us are warmer and warmer and warmer, and we are seeing dying wood all over Germany. So we have not enough water. We never experienced that. And then, of course, building dikes in this situation would be to plant acacias, so something which is growing in Greece, say. This would think about those ideas, and they say, what short term, please? What should we do with our wood? Something. And this is occurring also in our climate, and we see also there an inflection point to a different future. What is the reaction of real companies? I mentioned already Daimler. Daimler said some weeks ago that they cannot really earn monies from electrical cars. So the former president or CEO from Daimler is cited that he sold the 10% of Tesla too early, years too early, for minimum money. And he said at that time, I think it's 5 years ago, he said he is the only CEO of a car factory having made money from electrical cars, because he made some gain or some profit on this deal. And now they say e-cars is not that we want, and the whole Stuttgart area is full of diesel expertise, and we have all these engineers, many 10,000, and the real money is earned with luxury cars. And this means, in some things, what I mean, this is an article saying what I mean with building dikes. Building dikes is that I go down to the core business. This is okay, but going down to luxury cars is really kind of core business. So. And this is, I wait with luxury cars until e-cars are over. I don't know. And I think it's very disappointing. When I read that in the newspaper, I was very disappointed about Germany. So in these moments when I read that, then I have the feeling I should be in a different country. So please build ships, okay? Next one is a different automobile company, is Audi. I cite Audi because I for many years I explained that to many people, and nobody believed me. And this is an article from the Süddeutsche Zeitung, so it is kind of true, mainstream medium. And in Süddeutsche Zeitung, the boss, Markus Duesmann, gave an interview, and it's really worth to read that. And he explained that, boss of a German company, explained what the advantage of Tesla is. This is not the e-car, but they did something different. So VW, also Audi, they had a platform strategy. So they had the brilliant idea decades ago that they should build a platform, steel platform for all the cars, and then they from this platform they build all the other types of cars. So they do not need to build every car from scratch. So they have a physical platform. And now this physical platform is growing, growing, growing. You know that you have several hundred electrical devices in a luxury car, and the software of all these devices is becoming more complicated, and now they have problem with the software. And what Elon Musk did with Tesla is that he made before he enters the area of physical platform, he tried to build a digital platform. So then if you have many hundreds of devices in the company, they are ready with plug and play with the whole system. So what you are really need is a platform, a software, a digital platform for a car. So, all people laughed about that. Oh, he starts a car with a platform with just software. They are building software. Where is the car? And 5 years ago, they built some cars, but maybe 50,000. And we in Germany, we built 10 million. What's the problem? You can see all the videos on YouTube, for instance, from VW boss Müller at that time. And he was accused not to build ships, but building dikes. And he said, hey, lass die Kirche im Dorf. I don't know what is in English. Be calm, please. This guy has 50,000 cars a year, and he's learning to build cars. This is not the problem. Of course, he learned cars, but the major point is that he started with software. And nobody wants to hear that. And then now you hear from German luxury cars that the software always has problems and then becomes very expensive. And at some time, Tesla is then going straight ahead. Okay, this is the problem. Next slide, you see upgoing curve. I refresh this curve every quarter. This is the quarterly revenue of Amazon Web Services, and I'm very mad about that curve because I was the CTO of IBM Germany, and I became cloud manager as a task in 2009 until 2010 or 11. And I said, please build a cloud. This is really, really important. It started really this real episode. It started when a big, very high manager above me asked, what is cloud computing? I think in 2007. And I don't know. Nobody heard from cloud computing. And then we just Googled what cloud computing means, and we found a company. It was Amazon Elastic Cloud 2 was the name. The name is now Amazon Web Services. And then you could order, just instead of books in a desktop, other computers or like Dropbox space to store. Everything was there, very tiny. You cannot really find, at that time you could not find this page, because if you type in Amazon, then you land in the book page site, because Google said this is the most important site, and Google's thought or thinks today, if you today give Amazon in Google, then you get the book site or the warehouse site, but you never come to the cloud. You have to search for Amazon Web Services, and there are the cloud services. At that time, people said, Dueck, be calm. This is a very, very tiny company. Please go and look into the balance sheet, and please find out what the revenue of Amazon Web Services is. At that time, 2007, there was book, some revenue, and then was other, and other was 50 million. I said, maybe this is the cloud revenue, so it's 50 million. And I said, this is peanuts, Gunter Dueck. And I said, no, it's not about the peanuts. It's not about peanuts. It's new, and they will crush us. I said, no, 50 million is nothing against 100 billion of IBM at that time. And the next year was, I think, 100 million, and then was 200 million, and then was 700 million. And then I then I became a writer and keynote speaker at that time. I left IBM 2011 when they had maybe 1 billion. And now you see on this graph that they made the first quarter of a billion, first quarter with a billion revenue in 2000. I think 14 in this year, and now they are going up, and the last quarter is kind of 12 billion revenues. The growth year over year, all the time, you can see it in the curve, is 40%. They are growing since then 40%, 40%, 40% year over year. And then you can calculate that in 3-4 years, they are bigger than IBM. The profit of Amazon Web Services is now greater than the profit of IBM, and I'm really sad. So I worked in a company. I said, please build a cloud. Please go build dikes. And I said, no, this is not a business. Maybe you have seen the last news of IBM. They reordered the whole company and going to hybrid cloud. But it's not. But they want, this is like a luxury car in Daimler. What a luxury car is hybrid cloud that you own in your basement is for you, and this is but it's still not the real direction, and I'm really sad. I get my pension from then, and I hope if I'm 100 years, then that I get still my payment. Okay, from retirement. This is a slide from last week or 10 days ago. 20% of the European workforce are fired. So you see all the development, and I can give you. This is one company where I suffer because I was in my heart. I was working for the great IBM, and I'm very sad about that. Okay, there are different companies. This is also a recent article. This is Dropbox. And the guy you see there is, Timothy Young. Tim Young said, has had some interviews in the last weeks. He said, when we entered the Corona area, then we saw that Dropbox is not really designed for home office. We thought Dropbox is something for people who need some space on the internet, and they can exchange files and photos from their babies, and so we thought about this thing. And now we have COVID-19, and we saw that it is not really designed, Dropbox, for home office. And then we made a real plan what Dropbox should be if we have a Corona home office area. And then they sat down in March, April, made a real new plan how to restructure Dropbox to build ships and not dikes. And they are starting in these months, so they invest some $100 million into the reinvention of Dropbox. So some digital companies can reinvent, or they try to reinvent and make some different things. Okay, for reinvention, I proclaim a very different, very nice word. I found that in the word Organisierung in amazing book on culture, on different cultures of companies. And in this book, I found the different stages of the company. So it starts with idea and dream, and ends stage 7 with their death. And in between, there is a phase where you try to have some organization in a startup. And the next phase is phase 5. You have an organization. And this is, I think, very, very important. It's an American book. I tried to find out what Organisierung means in English. So backward translation. I bought the English version of the book, but they said stage 3 or 4 is getting started. But this is not the real name. So maybe if you have a small sense for German, please make a difference between organization and Organisierung. Organization is it's complete. So you have an organization, it's fine. You have all these processes in place and you optimize these processes, but the processes and the organization are there. But in a startup, you have a long phase where you try to insert organization. So this is the way to organization. This is if you're going with a ship somewhere else, then you try to find new land and you culture you have a new culture in this land, and then you try to live there. So this is a phase from an early enterprise to a steady phase where you have an organization. And this is very important in all the startups I'm caring of. You have to find the new processes and the new organization by just trying all the time. And the problem is, especially in Germany or in big companies, also in IBM, I mentioned that if you have a new idea, say cloud computing in IBM or hydrogen engines for Daimler. If you have a new idea, then they skip the phase of Organisierung and they just embed the new idea in the full organization they have already, and then this new idea is dying. This is the main problem. So if you are working in a big company, okay, phase 6. Is einigeln in German. This is a special word. Hedgehog is curling up in fear. This is phase, many people, this is the phase of building dikes. So you just curling up into a ball. If you tell someone in the bank, why does it last so long that I have a new account? This is usually 1 week. With an internet bank, it's 5 minutes. Why do you have 1 week? And I say, this is so. In Schweizerisch immer, das ist so. In Deutschland, das ist so. If you tell the Deutsche Bahn, we are 10 minutes late, it's complicated. So this means that people do not care about their customers anymore. They say, we have difficulties. Everyone knows, please do not hit me again. So why do you tell me that everyone knows? So if you say German teacher, why don't you have digital solutions in the school? Das ist so. But why don't we have digitalization at school? So das ist der Lehrplan. We have a schedule. And this, they are not really excuse. It's not really an excuse. It's the way we have it all the time. So people are really built into their organizations and processes, and this is the near-death experience, I tell you. Okay, this is for. We are here, you have heard, I think now, a lot of problems when you are local. You have a local problem, and you try to find someone on the phone to solve the problem. And of course, you have heard the whole day now how to make it better. This would be a real. The real difference is that you don't have a smartphone with you, but maybe digital glasses or an iPad or a smartphone with pictures and showing something, and you have discussed that the whole thing. So I was really, I said already to you, the boss is sitting here. I would invest in such a company. So because when I prepared for this session, there had many examples where someone just had a look on something. So I had that in IBM. Customer is calling in our computer science. Our computer center is something not okay. And I said, what? I think the mainframe is not running, I don't know. And then next question, is the problem in the SAP or in the hardware? Or do you have a network problem? I don't know, it's a problem. And then sometimes it would be fine to have just such equipment here from oculavis, and then they say, show me, what is the problem? And you know that many times people go around, very expensive people, very high, world-known, renowned experts go then to the customer and say, the power plug is not in. We had that many times in IBM. And in my private life, I've many times. I think last week, I have to preach, if your computer is not going like you want him to go, stop the power, reload, or out button, on button, try. And then, oh, wonderful. And there's no reason to have the most renowned experts at your home. I found also in IBM when we had maintenance, many things can be cleared if just someone, an expert, looks by means of a technical device, could be a glass, could be an iPad, something, smartphone, just looks at it, and I think 1/3 of the cases are resolved immediately in some seconds, and you don't need to make long travel problems and so on. Okay. I think these solutions you have seen today have a lot of impact in the medicine area. So this is one picture. We say, here is something. So I have here is some small thing in my hand, and then I could show the doctor by some device, is that dangerous, or should I come, or is it okay if I take fat cream, something, and then the doctor could say something like that. So I think telemedicine is not about that you have not contact to humans. People say, I do not like telemedicine because I want to speak with a doctor in my heart, something. But most of the cases at your doctor are trivial cases, and you can just show him on the telephone, this is the problem, I have here something, is that dangerous, yes or no? And then the problem is clarified. I could use that in for the care of seniors, of course, just looking on. So there are many. I have my parents died already after long periods in such a bed, and sometimes it would be just fine to look at them. So that the young lady had glasses, and we are looking at her, at my mother, and the doctor is looking at my mother, etc. Okay. Many years ago, the next slide is really nasty. I try to explain that I've written a very nasty book. It's called Lean Brain Management, Success with No Intelligence. This book was my most famous book in terms of critics. So it became Management Book of the Year in Germany in 2006. So I became a prize from the Financial Times, Germany, and in this book, this is a business satire. In this book, I teach that you should save intelligence because intelligence is so expensive. Intelligence is at work the most expensive thing we have. And the problem, if you look through this book, the problem is really that you need real intelligence only for some seconds. If you have a car accident or you do not know what the problem is, or a doctor does not know what the problem is, then usually an expert comes and says, this is the cause of the problem, and do this. So the diagnosis of the problem is maybe some seconds of an expert, but the therapy could last for years. But for the therapy, you don't need so much intelligence. The intelligence is needed for diagnosis. So, and what oculavis here, what all the solutions say, you can save a lot of intelligence if you make it in some remote fashion. So I explain that in this book. This book is 15 years out now, from now. I wrote it 15 years ago. And I explain that in many, many areas, that if you really think about that in a cynical and sarcastical way, really so blunt, if you think about the question how many intelligence is involved in your work, then it's only maybe 10%, and you can outsource the rest of it. So this is the idea of the book. Maybe you try to read that. This is the only book which is translated in English. Americans do not want to read my books, I think. Many books are translated in Korean and Chinese. These people think my books are interesting. The Americans, they have maybe enough management thinkers for that. Okay, then now this is the meta explanation of this thing, and now even one stage higher. Think about that. I wrote in a German article in my homepage. Please, if you try, you can read that. You can look on an analogy of the divided line at Wikipedia, in German Liniengleichnis in Wikipedia, and just give an explanation. What I'm saying is Plato said that we have 4 different stages of insight or understanding things. The first one is real insight, real understanding. This is in Plato. Socrates is telling you real insight and real understanding. And the second stage is knowledge analytics, logic. You see that on the slide. This is what our controllers in big companies are doing. They have all their numbers, their spreadsheets, their Excels, their numbers, and make a science, and then they make some forecasts, and they think this is intelligence. And normal people say you do not really understand. This is really true, because the highest is understanding of Socrates, and the second stage is the logical plane of understanding. This is only number 2, because you just see things through numbers, but you don't see them as a whole. And many people, many consultants are calling for systemic thinking, Gestalt theory, something like that. This is they try it like a Socrates and have the real insight. Wrong direction. Try the real insight, but no, they are crunching, number crunching. And please, if you are doing that, if you are looking, if you are attending my speech, please think about this is only number 2 of thinking. Number 3 is you believe only things where you have personal experience in. Or maybe your wife has experience, or your children, or your grandpa. Then you believe that. And if you have no experience, then you say this is not really this is not really true. And the problem of this time is, in sense of Plato, that most people in Germany, maybe 50% or more, are thinking in third stage intelligence. They think in personal experience, and they say, I do not know anyone who has corona. And then corona is not true. If people have their father, seen their father dying from corona, they say it's very, very serious. So if the experience is there, then they do it. If the experience is not there, then this is not kind of true. I have many examples of the WhatsApp app. So people say, I do not want to do things with my smartphone. And then I know people, they have relatives in the US, and then you can just, with WhatsApp, you can for free just phone for them and see them. And I say, oh, this is marvelous. I should have a smartphone with a WhatsApp app. And if you have once the experience, then it's true. If you have not the experience, it is devil. And then of course there are some percent people, they believe, they have no clue what it is, and they believe people like Trump who pretend that they know how things are. This is the problem. And if you want to understand transformation from one, for building ships to a different land, then you have to think about that. Thinking on level 3 means I do not see the other land, because there's water, 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 water. I do not see the other land, so it's not true. True is not also only what I see. And this is the problem with all these laggards we have who do not believe in any future or have fear in front of the future. Okay, I have a second slide. So the first stage is shift to the digital world. Second is taking your spreadsheets, complain that the profit is declining, building dikes to protect your property, something like that. And the third stage is I do not see still the land on the other side. And this is the problem. Okay. I have coined a word. This word pre-framing is in the title of my talk. Pre-framing is used in NLP technology, so the word exists. So you know maybe the word reframing, that you see things, the same things, from a different perspective, and then you see the same thing but in a different frame. And with pre-framing, I mean that you should see the future in your imagination like a real good future, and pre-frame it and then go to there. So this is what the good startups are doing. They have a good feel for the future, how it can be, how it should be in some sense, and then they go there. You can name it vision or mission or purpose, I don't know. But it really means you have an imagination what there should be in the next 10 years. So this is the point. So I have -8 seconds. This is my recent book. So if you want to have a shock, I made a hard critic in my last book on basically on building dikes, and this means process orientation, process orientation, process orientation. No new ideas. Everything is made away by optimization of processes. And I had some comments. There, I think maybe 20 comments on Amazon bookstore. You can look at it. They recommend that. I do not need to do that. Some people on LinkedIn say they are always reading 3 or 4 pages, and then they need coffee, because they are becoming really mad, because everything is the description of the world we have today is so much real that they cannot really read more than 10 pages or so. But there is a diagnosis of the world building dikes, and please do not do that. Build ships. The book starts with a tale of wild geese going to Africa. I cited the whole story in my book of Kierkegaard, what we had in the introduction, and this was the hardest point of my book, because this is in the journals of Kierkegaard, written in 1855. And I'm not allowed to cite this story in a German book because Kierkegaard wrote in Danish, of course, and the translation is of 1930, but the translator is not 70 years dead already. So I have to clear all the rights for citing an old philosopher. This is really strange. Maybe you have fun to read the real story and you sometimes like the book. Thank you.